Hi everyone, my name is Denis Prue and I'm part of the professional service team at Nokia. Today I'm going to present you the cloud-based network verification CNV. This is one presentation you do not want to miss because it's going to make your life a lot easier, and I'll show you why. So I'll cover what is network verification, how can CNV help you, an executive summary of issues and fix at the click of a button, typical use case that we have from our customers, how it works and what it supports, CNV new features, demo link, and you can request a free trial, which is very important. Instead of giving you sample reports, we'll give you real reports of your network with your data in the reports. So cloud-based network verification. It's a cost-effective way to perform network verification on a regular basis on your network, so to avoid outages. So we want you guys to run this application on your network on a regular basis so that you don't have a loss of revenue or an outage in your network. The way we've done this is we automated the network verification process to make it easier for you to get the reports off your network. So you'll get 3 reports: a network health report, capacity, and a scalability report. All the reports are based on the professional service best practices, product capability, and Nokia engineer network validation, the checklists. So we've automated the checklist. So instead of having a professional service guy going in your network, spend a month to give you these reports, at a click of a button, you'll be able to get those reports. So there are 3 main reports. The first one is the health check. There's a capacity check and a scalability check. So this is very cool because in a sense, health check is the whole checklist from professional service. So what you're seeing there is just some examples of what it checks. It checks all the network configurations across all the nodes for the IP MPLS parameters, OSPF, ISIS, MTU analysis, and so on. The software versions, if they're not consistent across the network, it'll tell you which one they are. You also look at redundancy and resiliency. They're not configured appropriately in your design intent. Another thing that's very handy, click a button, you can get all your end-of-life support issues for the hardware and the software. So usually this would take a month. Here in the click of a button, you get that report that tells you all the support versions of your routers. It's hard to spot dormant cards also and ports and resources that are unused. So this report will help you find out that information. Now the important thing about this health check report is a huge report because it checks for a lot of things in the network. But the good news is at the top of the report on the first page, it will give you the top 20 issues in your network and how to fix them. So this is a very, very nice report that you should be running on a regular basis. The second report is the capacity check report. So this one, we've integrated internal Nokia tools to perform the algorithms to find out that information from the network. So it's not easy to identify where you're dropping traffic on your interface utilization across the network. It's not easy to spot the imbalance of the lags. So this report was going to go look at the information, do the correlation between the two. It's not easy to identify links that are also oversubscribed. So this is also a huge report, but the good news is that at the beginning of the report, you're going to have the top 20 things that you need to fix right now in your network. The scalability check report is one of my favorite. CNV is the only application in the world that can do a scalability check on the Nokia SROS products. So basically, it will validate in your network what your scaling parameters, where you're at, and we're going to compare this against the published numbers of the SROS product. Now we do this for every release, so for every product. So for every product type SROS that we have, for every release, we're going to tell you what that release supports and where you're at, and you can make decisions on that information. Also, it's going to give you where the product is, the scaling numbers are, what the scaling numbers are of the product. It will report also on the scaling groups like services, IGP, OSPF, BGP. Same idea there. It's a huge report. There's going to be a lot of information in it, but at the beginning of the report, you're going to get the top 20 things that you need to fix now. So this is the 3 main important reports you should be running regularly on your network, and we would like you to do this proactively so you can fix the problems before you get the outages. So what I was saying before is every report has this type of table. It's called an executive summary table. And so it makes it very easy. If you look on the left, you got your issues that it found. And then if you look on the right, the recommendation column, it tells you how to fix the problem. But also there's a section, the second column is a section column. So if you actually click in the report on that section, you will hyper jump to that section. It will tell you exactly what element in the network is causing that problem. If it's a node, card, port, where to drill down. And also to make it even simpler, it color codes the top 20 things. So you want to get rid of all the orange problems that it found. Those need to be fixed now, otherwise you're probably going to have an outage in your network at some point. And then what's yellow, you should start planning to fix. So it's not as urgent, but you want to get rid of the orange, you want to get rid of the yellow. And if you run this report and you're getting all blue, that means you guys did a great job and your network is in good health. So even if your network is in good health, if you're doing a lot of migration or adding a lot of network devices in your network, a lot of people are doing CLI changes and everything, you want to run this on a regular basis. You don't want to see the colors showing up in the report. So here's some use cases that I prepared for to show the value of the CNV. A typical one is card provisioning mismatch. So the card is equipped, but it's not provisioned. So this is useful if you have dormant CapEx and you want to optimize your CapEx utilization. Another one that's hard to find, sometimes the lag imbalance. So you'll see the lag, which interface have lag imbalances, where one interface is passing more traffic than the other one. And what that does, it actually causes packet drops on your interfaces. There's also MTU mismatch analysis, the near end and the far end. So if you have wrong provisioning, typos, and misalignment between the nodes, this will cause the IP fragment, decrease the quality of the end user. The second use case, port underutilization, near end and far end. So this is inefficient use of the CapEx. MPLS resource usage also. The MPLS tables are monitored, and as they're reaching the scaling limit, it's going to create a network outage. So maybe you're not adding Nokia products, but maybe you're adding a multi-vendor node, and it's affecting the scalability of the routing protocol. And you want to make sure you know that this is happening. Duplicate IP address is another one also. So if you have duplicate IP address, if possible wrong advertising, back traffic routing, IP is activated. Also, if you look in the reports, it's all color-coded, so you can jump to the orange and jump to the yellow. And if it's blue, basically don't worry about it. Use case number 3, so it also looks at hardware errors detection, so like the P-chip parity errors, usually not easily reported in MIBs. Hardware errors will impact customer quality experience. Queue drops analysis, so it will identify those hotspots in your network. Packet drops will impact customer quality experience. Security feature activation, so if you don't have CPM or MAF filters on your security configured, this feature will help you increase your network security where you should configure those. And the last use case, number 4, redundancy and synchronization checks on control cards. So control cards should be redundant across the network, and you need to make sure they're properly synchronized. So this report will tell you the ones that are not synchronized and redundant. So this will improve your network resiliency and high availability. So how does it work? It's pretty simple. So the first time you do it, there's like 5 steps, but then after that, it's only like 2 steps to do. So we're going to give you a subscription, and you're going to log in via the secure portal, step 1. You're going to download the CNV CLI scripts to a secure laptop or server. Now, there's no communication between the Nokia data center and your network for security reasons. So you're going to FTP those CLI scripts to your secure network. Step 3, you run those scripts using a file that has all the management IP address of your routers. It's going to go, this file, those scripts, CLI scripts are put in the cron job, so you don't have to run this all the time, right? So once it's in the cron job, it's going to, on a regular basis, be run every week. Every week you're going to get step 4, an encrypted tar file, and this is the data that CNV uses to do the work to generate the reports. You upload that, and step 5, obviously, you go in the portal and you just click the button, run the report. Then there's only 3 menus. It's called IP health check, IP capacity, and IP scalability. And then after that, the next week, the cron job generates another tar file, and you just repeat step 4 and 5. You just upload the new file, and you can run a new report, and you can see the differences. An important point is on the right, you'll see that today we support health check, capacity check, and scalability check report. And I'm going to cover also the 2021, where we're adding different types of report. And one that's really, really nice is the complaincy check report. It's called the golden config. And we support all, as I said before, all the portfolio of IP routing. So all the SR OS and all the SR versions from 1 to 22. So the customer deliverable for IP health check, I already kind of covered some of them, but they're listed here. So it's network inventory of the hardware and the software, port analysis, MTU mismatch, all the end of life analysis, environment and temperatures for the fans and the PSUs, system uptime, CPU memory, hardware errors, network statistics, system configuration. As I said before, it's a long checklist from professional service that we go through. And it'll also tell you the hardware redundancy, the basic security configuration, account and logs, and so on. So this is a really nice report. The IP capacity report, same idea there, the interface utilization. So it goes to the interface average utilization per peak hours, maximum port utilization per peak hours, the top 20 hotspot interface in your network. And from these graphs on the right, you can see what you want to do is you want to get rid of the red dots. So the second graph below the first one, if you have red dots, you want to get rid of those. Those are interfaces that are dropping packets in your network. Same thing with the lag imbalance. If it's not 50-50, if it's 79-24 like this, it's imbalanced, so imbalanced by 55. And you get port utilization, queue drops. And remember, this is the capacity check report, which is uses an internal tool from Nokia that's been around for 20 years that we've been using in professional service. But now you have access to that as a single click of a button. The scalability check, as I said before, CNV is the only product in the world that does that. It will check all the scalability of all the network summary of the tables and all the routing protocols, limits against what you're using in the network. So an important thing about the reports is you can compare them. You can compare the reports and you can trend them. So comparison is important for you because let's say the first week you had all these issues and you gave it to your planning team, and your planning team has addressed these issues, or you may have addressed those issues. So on the second week you run the report again and you see all the orange are gone now. So you're left with the yellow problems that has to be fixed at one point in your network. So you want to do this all the time. Usually if you have all blue, you're fine. But let's say there's a lot of changes in the network and you run the report, you may see people introducing some problems in your network. The trending one is nice to show you what's the split of all the SR types in your network. So what are the new CNV features for 2021? So the one I'm very excited about is the compliancy check. This is the golden config one. So this one will be specific to you, the customer, the service provider. All the other reports are all based on the same rules for everyone on the planet. So everybody runs a health check, capacity, scalability check will get the same check done on the network. But compliancy check works a bit different. It's a golden config for you only, and it will be your rules. So what we do is we add your rules to the CNV, and when you run this report, it will check to make sure that the configurations have been done in the network as they're supposed to do. The next one is the power consumption one. So the benefit there is they'll track the real and estimate power consumption of the deployed routers, validate the router power consumption versus the site power budget. So basically you input this information into the portal and then it goes and runs these reports. Now this power consumption detail report will be included in the IP health check report. So we'll list you the top sites and routers with the highest power consumption and list the top sites with the highest power budget utilization. There's also an output that goes out that gives you not only the 10 most or 1020, we'll give you all the routers, the output. There's a syslog check report. Syslog there just looks at the logs and the alarms. And it does a syslog summary per severity and per application, the top 20 events. So a lot of times you have a lot of information from the syslogs. It will try to summarize it for you to which one to look at. And an important one for security, we're adding customer data obfuscation. So basically, we're going to hide the real IP address used by customers in their network, perform a mapping of Class A values to anomalize the use of IP address. So what it's trying to do there is trying to get rid of also the descriptor fields. So some customers have put in descriptor field of an interface, the customer, maybe telephone number or name. So we don't want this in the reports. So this feature will basically mask that out. So we're also looking at there's some of our customers have many states or province or maybe many countries they're operating in. If they put CNV and all these different networks, you can have a multi-domain dashboard. So basically just bringing that information to the global group so they can look at this information globally. And what that will do is that if you look at the multi-domain dashboard, it'll basically give you the reports for all the different countries, and we'll split it out so you can have a management view at a group level. It also does heat maps or equipment identification of issues, data drilling for performance evaluation. So this is what it will look like. This is kind of a mock-up. You have a heat map, you see all your different cities or countries, and it will highlight which one's in good shape and which ones are not in good shape. And then you also have the health check matrix, which shows the CNV findings for the multi-domain dashboard. So the end of life split between the opcos, the number of errors, hardware errors they have. And there's another one called the install base. What's the split of all the SR types that they have in the network? So just to recap here, so there's no need to trigger Nokia professional service. You can do this on your own. You just click of a button. It's near instantaneous, meaning it's an offline tool, right? So it's not connected to your network. It's an offline tool. It's not within your network. It generates the reports. Security-wise, it's HTTPS, SSL certificate, IES 256. Also, proactively allow you to detect problems before they happen in your network. It's unlimited usage because it's a subscription model per year. So basically use it as much as you want. And it's a fixed cost. So every 6 weeks, we're updating those reports, features. We're adding new things every 6 weeks. And you don't need to install this in your NOC. You don't need to take training on it. It's not a product. It's hosted. So you take advantage of all that. So this shows basically we kind of launched this very heavy last year because of COVID. And we have 40 plus customers right now globally. I did not talk about the optical part. We have also a CNV for optical. If you're an optical person and would like to have that information, you can contact us. So here's the useful links. So there's a CNV demo that you can run. There's a link there. We have a data sheet and we have customer quotes. But at the bottom, what's important is the contacts. So if you want to get a free trial and get reports off your network, contact either Terry or me and we'll set you up. We have a professional service team that can get you running in 1 hour. So this does not take a long time because you don't have to install anything. So basically we do a WebEx, 1 hour with you, and we'll give you a subscription maybe for a couple months. And then you can run the reports and you can see real reports with your data and you'll find out how valuable this is. So just to wrap it up, it's flexible, you know the cost, it's subscription, unlimited users anywhere, anytime. It's near instantaneous because it's offline, and it'll increase your productivity because you'll be finding stuff in your network that are going to break soon, and you're going to be proactively fixing them before you get there. Thank you very much, and that concludes the presentation.